A high point in Guatemala was interacting with the main family of my big story. They had a very small house for like 8 or 9 people, and we went one night to interview the son, and he drives a tuk-tuk or like a motorized taxi, and so he was doing that late because Thursday nights are good for business. His mom, Juliana, and his wife Vilma were making black corn tortillas for dinner that night and then for the next day. And so we just hung out in their tiny kitchen made out of sheet metal and wooden beams, and it wasn't like any real interview or anything, but it was just a really good connection point for that family because we really got to see into their lives. A low point was actually on the same day. That morning we woke up to a text that was like, someone in our group tested positive for COVID, come report to us before you can go out in the field. And so I was like, oh no, like what happened? And so I get to breakfast, and lo and behold, my photographer and designer, Bryson, tested positive for COVID. And so immediately, I wasn't even thinking about how I was a close contact. I was just thinking about our stories and how we couldn't go see them. And so I burst into tears. But I got tested, and they were negative. And so I was actually still able to go and visit the family. One morning, we had to wake up at 4 a.m., my team did, because we were going to go on the camioneta, or like a chicken bus, the public transportation. The driver that we were doing a story on had to drive to Guatemala City at like 5 a.m. So we woke up that early, and we were like packed in on this bus, and it was just really chaotic and crazy. But like, I realized in that moment that like this is completely normal. I'm like, oh my gosh, like the public transportation here is so crazy. But I was surprised in the fact that I was like, this is completely normal. Like, these are just people and people living their lives. Like, this is their daily routine. And I feel like that was a really good moment for me, because this is why it's cool to tell these people's stories, is because it's like they're ordinary people with ordinary lives, but they're extraordinary to some. It's cliche to say like how big the world is, I guess, but in that moment in the bus, seeing all those different people, just the sheer vastness of the world, I definitely felt that in Guatemala. This affirmed that I want to do this as my career. The chance to go to Guatemala and to meet these people was a really big blessing, and so I feel like I learned that I want to do this, and that it is really a fruitful opportunity, not just for me, but it can also give these people a chance to share their stories with a community that would not necessarily know about them at all.